Hey everybody, welcome once again to Low on Health Rambling. This of course is the year-end reviews, and this one's particularly is the gaming for 2019. So as we know, this is kind of why I started having a website, just to kind of keep track of all the games I've played and kind of share what I thought about them to everybody who doesn't really know or care, but more or less just for future me to look back on and reminisce. I guess I don't really intro these, Will, but I'm Jimmy. You know that? We never actually say who we are. Of course, we're not like an official podcast, but this is Rose, my girlfriend, who I live with. I just realized we never actually intro these like with people like we actually do.
Hey, you know who we are.
But the idea is the idea is this is for friends and family and ourselves, so we know who we are. But
I go by Rose Nightshade everywhere, but a lot of people also call me Drew.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting.
And you just go by Jimmy everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Well, unless it's work.
Unless it's work, and then someone calls you Jimmy, I'm like, who the hell are you?
Anywho. This is about gaming for 2019, in which case, this year I played 226 games.
He did. That doesn't mean he beat all of them, but he did sample 226 games.
The stipulation I always say, the majority of these I don't beat. I just play them a little bit.
He beats a lot of them, though.
But there are a lot that I will play through completion. Sometimes I'll play through them twice. Sometimes I'll get all the achievements. Sometimes I'll spend 4 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, 40 hours. All depends on the game and if it's good and it's worth my time.
Yeah, and then there are some games where I'm like, can you, turn the volume down? There are some games, some first-person shooter games that you play where it's just like, oh my god, the gunfire noises just irritate me.
But nonetheless, this year, 226, 35 of them have been replays. I mentioned this, and I criticized some of the people in my circles where they pay money to buy a game they played before in a previous system. They should be playing new properties. But I will say this year I replayed 35 older games.
But the reason is...
The most of them is because of Game Pass, which I'll go over in a couple minutes, but yeah, Game Pass has a bunch of games either on PC or the remasters on Xbox One that I will have replayed.
I watched you probably play about half of these.
And then this time around, just to go over my top 10, we have Red Strings Club, which is a PC game, point-and-click adventure.
The music in it is great.
Great music, great art style, great story, and it just stuck with me all year. Summertime Saga Acting Lessons is also, these are kind of PC games. These are kind of more of your adultish dating sim type games.
Oh, they're not kind of, they are.
But the idea is I played a bunch of these this year, and by a bunch, I mean
a lot.
A lot. Spent a lot of hours doing it, once again sampling what's out there. And these two...
Unfortunately, you hit the peak of good stories.
Yeah, and that would be, these two are kind of ones I would definitely recommend. And just kind of technically pound for pound, I enjoyed them more than some of these console AAA tier games, in which case... By that regard, the best console game I played was Borderlands 3 this year. I really enjoyed that. You played it with me. We took time off to play it.
That is one of the only games that I played this year.
And we enjoyed it. Great continuation of the saga, the story, the gameplay. Everything was just rock solid. Far Cry had their DLC 0.5 game, New Dawn. Which,
I don't remember that.
In which case takes place after 5, after the bombs drop.
Oh, okay. Now I remember.
In which case, it's always fun to think the Far Cry, the 0.5 ones, the mid-gap ones, Primal and New Dawn, I like more than actually their numbered ones. Primal's still probably my favorite. This one might actually now be my second favorite.
Primal was really cool.
You have Tacoma, which was done by the people that did Gone Home, the walking sim. This is basically a space walking sim, but it's really done well. I love the story. The overall theme of it is just really cool, and I enjoyed it. And once again,
I played a little bit of it.
I want to say, I'll probably say this every now and then, that's on Game Pass. A lot of these games are on Game Pass. Walking Dead Season 4, Walking Dead series finally ended. Decent ending. Once again, I think all those are on Game Pass. We're happy to see that series kind of end, because we know Telltale kind of went under. A lot of their series are in limbo, but luckily somebody came up and at least got that done so we could finish out Clementine's saga. Outer Worlds, once again, this was kind of the Fallout sci-fi game that we wanted a lot of those Fallout games to be. Very solid. I played through it twice. Once on normal, just kind of doing everything. Second on a supernova difficulty, and I did that. Got all the achievements. Enjoyed playing that, and it's on Game Pass. I'm gonna say that 15 more times. But it's also on PC. So as I mentioned, more next year games are gonna be replayed. I'm probably gonna replay through Outer Worlds again on PC. Call of Duty once again had another game come out this year, Modern Warfare, which is it's definitely a prequel to the first Modern Warfare. Gorgeous game. It was just the story was great. All the Call of Duties have pretty much always been great. That's, usually they're kind of more known for the multiplayer, but their single player elements I've always thoroughly enjoyed.
I'm trying to remember.
It would have been one of the first-person shooters, and it was quick. Like, it took more time to download than it would probably play.
I think I remember. Something also that we've never really brought up is, like, you play all these games, and it's like, well, what does she think about you playing all these games? I love it. I don't like to personally play that many games. I'll just, every now and then I'll have, like, one game that I play to, like, excess, like, obsessively. But, like, I love that you play all these games. It's actually one of the things that I wanted whenever I was looking for somebody. Because, like, bonus points if you're a gamer. Because I don't have to play the games. I get to see the games. And, you know, if I want to, I can play them. But, like, I love that you play all these games.
Thank you for your support in this video that wasn't coerced at all. Going on, Celeste is actually from 2018. But once again, it became free on something service. Maybe it's on Game Pass. I don't know. Maybe I bought it. I don't recall. But I played it, and it is just very, very good. It also has an option where you can kind of cheat the game a little bit, but still enjoy it and still get the story. But it was just a solid game.
Is Control like space?
I don't know why that has its space. Anyway,
for like some kind of funny reference.
Control is just a very good game. It's probably one of the only other games that's getting a lot of Game of the Year nods.
It was really neat.
A lot of these games you won't see in Game of the World nods besides maybe Outer Wilds gets more nods.
It wasn't the kind of game that I thought it was going to be.
But Control was very cool. It was very just stylistic, and I enjoyed it. It basically, of course, I think it's done by the same people that did...
The writing was really neat.
Done by the same people that did Quantum Break, which was also good.
Yeah.
Quantum Break
it does make me think of
Quantum Break's also on Game Pass. Control will probably be on Game Pass probably before the end of 2020.
The writing was fantastic for Control.
Also want to scroll down and just talk about some notables before we get to the long list of games that I played. Notables for this year... Final Fantasy VII, they said that all the Final Fantasies were going to be coming to Xbox as ports. Played through 7, got all the achievements, and greatly enjoyed playing Final Fantasy VII. It's my more favorite game. Kingdom Hearts 3, I was greatly, greatly disappointed in. The main thing I will reference to people multiple times is if the last Harry Potter movie had the same tone as the first one, that's what Kingdom Hearts felt. It hasn't grown with age. It hasn't really refined itself.
It's just
gorgeous looking.
If you just want more of the exact same, and by that I mean like just the characters act like they're frozen in time, which some people probably like, but we didn't personally.
Wasn't for us.
I was happy Axel and Roxas were back though. But they treat all the female characters like trash, and they need to stop writing them that way, please.
Another thing that happened this year is I did cancel my GameFly subscription. After like 10 years of using GameFly, I have a whole video about GameFly, or Game Pass GameFly stuff. But I look towards 2020, not that many games coming out in 2020 that I'm interested in. And the ones I am interested, I will do something that I did 3 times this year, which is something I rarely do, is actually buy digital copies of games. Because GameFly ships me stuff and it takes so long to get from Pittsburgh to here, for Kingdom Hearts, I wanted to play it day one, so I bought it and downloaded it. Final Fantasy VII, there is no disc version, so I downloaded that. Same thing with Borderlands 3, we downloaded that. And this lets us play games day one, midnight release type deal, play these games. I don't really need to have that box on the wall now, in which case all my games are on the wall now. That's a different video.
That's a different video.
So when I was looking at 2020 and the 2 real games I cared about the most, Cyberpunk 77 coming out in March, I'm like, I'll just go ahead and download that. And then once I looked at there's maybe 6 other games slated for next year, and I'm like, I'll just hold off on it. So I canceled my GameFly, also because Game Pass is throwing out like 8 to 10 games a month almost, and then when you factor in the PC end of the games that they release that have achievement points, I'm like, well, now I have a back catalog. Usually I never have that crazy of a back catalog, but that's why next year I'll be replaying a lot of games because a lot of them are now on PC or on Xbox. A lot of newer games are coming to that, and Game Pass is just the more economical, smart choice for me.
And also a lot of the new releases come to Game Pass pretty quickly.
It is surprisingly how some games will be out for 3 to 6 months and they come to Game Pass, or maybe even a year and they come to Game Pass. So if I'm not really looking to play them right away, they'll come to Game Pass. And
you know
then
what it's kind of like? It's like how movies used to take like a year to come to video, and now it's like depends on how well they do in the theater, and they could come out.
And sometimes
in
if
just
a game doesn't do well, they'll maybe do that, or if they want to spur on DLC.
So yeah, but brand new games are coming to Game Pass really quickly too. So that was something else that factored into your decision.
And the final nail in the coffin was at a Xbox Con or some convention thing. They said, hey, these games are coming to Xbox in 2020. And if you look at this picture here, it's kind of hard to see, but they basically said, hey, all the Final Fantasies that were released on Xbox are coming to Game Pass in 2020.
Like, happy and upset. You're
so that's like
it.
7,
I had to play them all.
7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 2, 12, 13, 13, 2, 13 Lightning Returns, 15. And then even 3 of the Yakuza games are apparently all coming to Game Pass in 2020. And once I realized that, I'm like, that's 40, 50 hours each. And some of them are also coming to PC. And if they have split achievements, that means I'm going to be playing through those games twice.
If they have different SKUs, that means they have
typically different achievements.
So
I realized that's just way too much gaming, and that's the only reason why I canceled GameFly.
And you don't like JRPGs
I don't like
anymore?
JRPGs anymore, but I have the nostalgia factor for Final Fantasies, and what they've done with a lot of Final Fantasies, they put in quality of life things like maybe a no encounters mode or a god mode, so you can still just play through them. I knew they had that for 7, and I enjoyed it, and it helped. I don't know how well that's implemented in 8, 9, 10, etc. But these games have been out forever that the guides for them will walk you through with no problem at all.
Yeah.
But
to be honest, I'm looking forward to watching you play 10 and 10 too, because those are my favorite ones.
So that just means next year I'll be doing that, and Game Pass facilitates all of that. Like, really, I can't stress, if you have an Xbox, pay $1, get 2 or 3 months free, play all the games you want. The thing Game Pass has more than even GameFly is that the downloadable games, the smaller games that don't have a disc.
Oh yeah, the little independent games.
Come to that.
And a lot of them have been really good too. Like, you've enjoyed a lot of the independent games.
Really, just hit up Xbox's site, look at what games are on Game Pass, go, oh, I've been meaning to play that, or oh, I wanted to play that.
And then play it.
It's not that hard of a thing to do.
Can't find the time. No, you haven't made the time.
Which is okay. You do what
You've
you want.
prioritized other things, which is fine, but be honest with yourself.
Now, I'm going to, of course, now go over the long list of games I played, in which case you see at the very top there, anything that has a yellow highlight next to it, that means it's a replay, and it doesn't get counted towards what games I played this year in the ranking. I played them this year, but I'm not going to say Final Fantasy X is the game of the year when I definitely have played it numerous times.
7.
You said 10. Fine.
I
gave it 10.
I got 10 stuck in your head.
Final Fantasy 7. All those, also what remains of Edith Finch was in like my top 10. Game Pass has a lot of games that have been in my top 10 over the last couple of years. Nonetheless, you can see a lot of the games that I played this year, I just really much enjoyed. But
Very much
a decent amount have been replayed.
Really much isn't a phrase.
Yes, it is.
Stop trying to make it a thing.
Scrolling through here, you see Kingdom Hearts was there. There's a lot of really good...
I'm trying to think if there's anything... To be honest, I think the thing that I notice the most about games that you play is if I like their soundtrack, dislike the soundtrack, which means it annoys me, or find it just like completely inoffensive. I think that's the thing that I notice most about the games that you play that I don't pay attention to, is like, you'll be like, oh, this game sucks. I'm like, oh, that's a bummer because the soundtrack is really good.
I'll mention the Goose game that everybody's been in a tizzy about that you see everybody talking about. That came to Game Pass. Once again, there is no disc-based content for that. So the idea is I would never have gotten that from GameFly. But Game Pass put that on there, and that's only been out for less than 6 months, less than 3 months. I don't know.
Something
but
like
very
that.
short.
It's like 6 months because they were playing it at Desert Bus.
Which was in November.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, a lot of really good things that I'm looking forward to. A lot of these things, if you see adult, those are like PC adult type games. But I want to put them in there because I enjoyed them and they're worth noting.
Blair Witch was actually a really good
Blair Witch was surprisingly very good.
It was.
I love my farming sim games.
Yeah,
even if I get to replay through them.
They're very chill for you. Wolfenstein was pretty cool.
Well, which one? Because that's the whole thing. Like
the one, I don't know.
The newer one that happened this year had his daughters, which was okay.
Whichever one I watched you play. I don't know.
The new one this year I didn't enjoy that much. You also see here if it says GP next to it in that review column, that means it came to Game Pass. Like the majority of the games that I played this year are from Game Pass, just because they release so many.
Dude, you did not like Jump Force.
I did not enjoy Jump Force. And a lot of these games too with Xbox, they'll do like the free play weekends. I'll play a game. They put a lot of sports game on there. I'll play them a little bit, and essentially if you see her on the right side, it just says I achievement farm. But at least I tried them. You know, maybe I would have enjoyed them. I know I wasn't going to enjoy cricket. I know I wasn't going to enjoy like any of the NHL games.
And it tends to be too whenever you're writing up your reviews, you'll like ask me, do you remember how I felt about this game? I'm like, which one was it? And then you'll explain it, like, oh, I'm like, yeah, you were complaining about that one a lot. Like, I'll remember if you liked something or not, usually.
But you will see here, a lot of these see GP/Achievement Farm or subpar. Just like Netflix, you're not saying, oh, I'm not getting the fullest potential out of Netflix because I'm not watching this show or that show. You don't feel you have to watch every single show that's on Netflix or whatever streaming service you're using. Same thing with like Game Pass, but the idea is you can just download them, give them a shot. You have no idea what new art style, narrative, or gameplay is going to grab you.
And you weigh narrative extremely
I weigh
heavily.
narrative extremely heavily.
That's like one of your
really my hallmarks.
That's like a hallmark for like how much you actually like something.
But of course down here is all like the subpar games that I played this year. But I just want to go back up to like the 8s and the 9s, just kind of focus on stuff. Like Thimbleweed Park, good old school point and click adventure. I mean, if you haven't played it Inside yet, everybody should have played it.
Oh my
Inside
god, so good!
point.
It's like Limbo.
After Party, I enjoyed it much. It was
the
very
writing
cool.
was really good. You just didn't like that you had to the checkpoint system wasn't great for when you fail stuff.
Life is Strange 2 happened this year. Good, not as great as the other two before the storm and the first one.
I didn't bother watching the whole thing because I found it boring.
But still okay.
It was okay. It wasn't bad. I just found it boring compared to the first one.
Yeah, it's kind of like the games I played this year. I always recommend everybody play as much as you can, as much as you want. But if you have an Xbox, there's no reason why you shouldn't pay $1 to have access to all these games and then look at ones you maybe have heard of that are good. In which case, if you're interested, contact me in some way, shape, or fashion. Let me know what games you played recently, and I can probably point you to some Game Pass games that you'll really much enjoy that are going to be worth your time.
Really much enjoy. You've said that like a dozen times.
Yeah, sure.
Really much enjoy.
Really much enjoy.
It's a Jimmyism. There's a lot of those.
There's a lot. But as always, I don't, like I said, next year, Cyberpunk I'll probably buy, and then the newest Watch Dogs was supposed to come out in March. But then they said, hey, that's getting pushed back to like into the holiday season, which now the holiday season for next year is going to have the newer systems, the newest PlayStation, the newer Xbox. So now I know that's going to be on that system.
Do you have any idea what the new Watch Dogs is going to be like? Like, is it going to be like Watch Dogs, Social Justice Warrior version 2?
It's London Legion, and you can apparently play as other people and kind of jump around like you're building more of a team almost. It's going to be good.
I want it to be like the second one.
The second one was very good. I love that series. But who knows? Maybe I will just buy the game, the pinnacle games that are going to be really good that I really want to play now. I will probably outright buy digitally. Which is ironic because the big problem with Xbox One last time they were selling it was going to be an all-digital system, and everybody was up in arms about discs. And ironically now, I haven't put a disc in my Xbox in a while, and I don't know when I will.
Is there a disc in there right now?
There's a disc in there right now, but it's the Xenogears soundtrack movie DVD thing. But yeah,
is the next disc that you put in your Xbox actually probably going to end up being Promare?
Yeah, because that's going to be a 4K DVD.
I'm getting that.
But nonetheless...
But that's a different video.
But nonetheless, it's going to be interesting to see going forward how this whole digital landscape actually works, especially with the subscription services. If we're doing it for video content, cancel that video content for 1 month, apply that to Game Pass, and there's going to be more content there that you weren't expecting. And it is definitely worth the money. If you're a gamer. Once again, if you're not a gamer, that's great. But if you just want to game a little bit, it also gives you a no-frills thing of having to worry about getting pre-owned games and having all this big pile of discs that you didn't get to. It's Game Pass.
You don't have to have a dragon horde to play video games.
Nope. Okay, well that's the rambling for Game of the Year. In which case, yes, Borderlands 3 was my Game of the Year for the consoles, and then Red Strings Club was overall just because the narrative was great. That's on PC. It's also on Game Pass now. Red Strings Club wasn't on Game Pass the year before. It's actually from 2018. And surprised they put it on Game Pass PC.
The soundtrack for the game is incredible.
A lot of games that are in my top 10 are on Game Pass and PC. Undertale's on. Anyway, I can ramble on about Game Pass. But as always,
he likes it. Can you tell?
It is so good to have something to recommend to people that is actually well priced and accessible. But nonetheless, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
I'm Rose, and he's Jimmy.
Oh yeah, signing off.